Now at 5, the Joplin Police Department remembers 2 officers who were fatally shot in the line of duty 1 year ago today. Plus, authorities in Crawford County released new details about yesterday's manhunt for Aaron Swink. And the acting head of the FAA testifies before lawmakers about a series of close calls on flights in recent weeks.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Joplin Police Department is honoring 2 officers who were fatally shot in the line of duty 1 year ago today. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The JPD hosted a memorial service for Corporal Ben Cooper and Officer Jake Reed. KOAM Shannon Becker was at the memorial and has more.
Yeah, thanks. Today, Joplin Mayor Doug Lawson began the day by saying Joplin flags should be flown at half staff until the 15th of March to remember our 2 Joplin police officers. This morning was the first of 2 memorial services remembering Corporal Ben Cooper and Officer Jake Reed at the Joplin Public Safety Center. It was standing room only and the families attended this morning as officers shared heartfelt stories of the 2 and funny ones also. It was 1 year ago today both officers responded to a routine call of a disturbance at a clothing store. They encountered a male who was compliant at first but then pulled a firearm. Both officers were gravely wounded. The man then stole a patrol vehicle, leading other officers on a high-speed chase to the area of 9th and Connecticut. As he tried to steal a minivan there, Officer Rick Hershey blocked him in and was shot in the face. Captain Will Davis arrived and witnessed what occurred. He engaged his duty weapon, stopping the man from further threat. Officer Hershey would recover from his injuries. It's now been a year, and Captain Davis tells us what transpired that day was something he wished his career would have never encountered.
It's the most heartbreaking thing that you've ever heard in your entire life. You'd hope to go an entire career without ever having to experience an officer's funeral. Losing one of your own and having to do it. 2 officers in one incident and almost a third with Officer Hershey. It's one of the most heartbreaking things you'll ever have to go through in your life. Every day there's moments where you think about Ben and Jake and Rick and everything that happened, and some days are better than others, but you just do what you can to try to honor their memory and support their families and kind of move forward.
The second service will be held on Saturday, the same location, and the mayor of Joplin will declare Officer Jake Reed Day. You can view the service on social media or our website at KOAM News Now. In Joplin, I'm Shannon Becker for KOAM News Now.
We're learning new details from the Crawford County Sheriff about yesterday's hours-long search for Aaron Swink. Now, Swink was released on parole on March 2nd. The Kansas Department of Corrections listed him as absconded on March 6th. After more than 10 hours of searching South Pittsburgh, Sheriff Danny Smith says a call-in tip led to the capture. Smith also says deputies and police officers were already looking for Swink before he allegedly shot at a vehicle, a building, and exchanged gunfire with deputies on Monday night.
Had been looking for him for some other things. He had a warrant out for his arrest, and he had been making threats of shooting law enforcement, and so we'd already been kind of looking for him regarding those issues.
The sheriff praised other local and state law enforcement agencies for helping in the arrest. Freeman Health System today made donations to several area nursing schools. Freeman Auxiliary donated $2,000 each to 8 nursing schools, a total of $16,000. Officials say past donations have been used to buy new equipment and for student scholarships.
We've got some big plans for several different items of equipment that we are needing to update in our skills lab. So we're excited to be able to update those things and prepare our students better for what they will see in the field.
The schools that received donations are Crowder College, Missouri Southern, Pitt State, NEO, Labette Community College, Carthage Technical School, Franklin Technology Center, and Fort Scott Community College. Let's check in with meteorologist Sam Lane now for a first look at the weather.
All right, thank you very much, Dow. We had quite a bit of rain yesterday, and now we're starting to see rain redeveloping on radar down in the Tulsa area, kind of maybe moving towards the east, but we did have quite a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity. You can see some of the heaviest precipitation was just along I-44. Taking a closer in view, you can see around 2.2 inches on the east side of town, 1.3 over in northeastern Craig County, and around a couple of inches down in southern Delaware County and in southern Benton County. We're not expecting that kind of precipitation tonight, but we're going to see temperatures dropping through the 50s down into the lower 40s by morning with those scattered showers and storms around. Those are going to continue to the overnight hours into tomorrow, and then partly cloudy on Friday, followed by a wet weekend. And I'll tell you all about that in our forecast when we come back.
See you soon. A series of close calls has shaken the airline industry. They include near misses and in-flight chaos. The Senate Commerce Committee questioned the acting head of the Federal Aviation Administration about safety in the skies. Bradley Blackburn reports.
Members of the committee.
The administrator in charge of aviation safety faced lawmakers just days after the latest in-flight scare.
What the heck is going on in air travel?
Over the weekend, passengers subdued a man who was later charged with trying to open an emergency exit and then attacking a flight attendant.
Since I'm taking over this plane.
What would have happened if he had succeeded in opening the door mid-flight?
Let me just say, sir, that on a pressurized flight, he would not have been able to open the door in flight. That being said, it still is not the kind of behavior you would expect to see.
On Monday, 2 United Airlines planes clipped wings on the tarmac at Boston Logan, just the latest in a series of close calls.
We have seen near misses and incidents that remind us that aviation safety requires constant vigilance.
As acting head of the Federal Aviation Administration, Billy Nolan is overseeing agency reforms, including hiring about 300 employees to its safety office in the years since 2 Boeing 737 MAX crashes killed nearly 350 people.
Is the 737 MAX actually safe? Have we done the necessary work here?
The FAA scrutinized Boeing's safety fixes before lifting a 20-month grounding.
I can say categorically that the 737 MAX airplane is safe.
President Biden has nominated Phil Washington to lead the FAA, but Republicans are vowing a fight, saying he's not qualified for the job. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead, a sharp increase in one type of crime.
A new report shows more than 1 million cars were stolen last year. I'm Michael George, and I'll introduce you to a woman whose car was stolen 3 times.
And next in Health Watch, what a new study shows about the rates of children dying from poisons related to opioids. Topping today's Health Watch, an alarming new study shows more children are dying from poisonings related to opioids. Stephanie Stahl has more.
The nation's opioid epidemic is having deadly consequences for children. A new study in the journal Pediatrics shows opioids are the most common substances leading to fatal poisonings in young children. In 2018, they accounted for 52% of deaths in children 5 and younger, a significant increase from 24% in 2005.
Even small amounts of an opioid, just because kids are smaller and weigh less, can have a much greater effect. It can change how they're able to breathe. It can change their mental status, and that can potentially be fatal.
Dr. Christopher Gaw authored the study and says within the past decade, children have been exposed to new opioid sources like heroin, fentanyl, and drug treatments like methadone and buprenorphine.
At the Poison Center here at Children's Hospital Philadelphia, nurses and pharmacists field 65,000 calls each year.
Other common substances, including over-the-counter pain, cold, and allergy medications, are also leading to deadly poisonings.
What to do?
The center is working with communities to help keep opioids and other drugs out of the reach of children in the first place.
Supervision is helpful, but it's not the end-all be-all because kids are quick and poisonings can happen in a split second. So what we recommend is that parents and families should focus on preparedness and prevention. They should keep medications and other toxic substances out of sight and out of mind.
In fact, 3/5 of poisoning deaths happened in the child's home, a wake-up call for parents and caregivers to keep their kids safe. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Researchers also recommend if you do have opioids in the home that you keep the medication naloxone in the house, which can be life-saving if a child has an opioid-related exposure. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to tell you why you should take your healthy dog to the veterinarian.
And we've had a break in the rain, but that break is coming to an end. I'll tell you all about that as well as your weekend forecast when we come back. Oh, we had quite a bit of rain yesterday. Today, not so much. We just had the cloudy skies, but the rain is going to be coming back, and we'll show you that in a moment. Right now, let's take a look outside at Seneca, Missouri, to Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Lots of cloudy skies down that way as well. We had a short thermometer today, too, starting out at 46, but only made it up to 53 degrees for the high. Averages are 57 and 35. Records 80 back in 1982, and just 4 years later, 4 degrees, and we are ahead on the rainfall, both for the month and for the year. Here's a look at radar, pretty much on the dry side right now, but notice some showers developing down near Tulsa. This is part of the next wave that's going to be moving over us as we go through the overnight and evening hours. You can see those showers in southern Washington County. They're going to start becoming more numerous and widespread with this storm system as it moves out from the Rocky Mountains into the plains. You can also see some severe weather down in north central Texas in advance of that storm system. Then we have several pieces of energy behind that, and each one of these is going to make their way towards us, and that's going to keep the rain chances going, especially through the weekend. Temperatures right now are generally in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. A little bit warmer down in Jay with their double nickel right now. Same thing over in Bella Vista. A little bit cooler up in Yates Center where they're currently sitting at 48 degrees. Dew points have been on the increase as well, generally in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees, so that deeper moisture is going to help out with those rain showers once they do develop. Right now in Joplin, it's cloudy. 51 degrees. It feels like 51, of course. Northeast wind at 7. Dew point at 47. And the humidity at 86%. The flag is kind of draping on the flagpole right now as we have a light wind out of the northeast at 3 at Pittsburgh. 49 is what it feels like, as well as the current temperature. And look at the humidity, almost 100%. Wouldn't be surprised to see some dense fog later on tonight with some of those showers. You can see the rain chances are going to dramatically increase as we go through the overnight into tomorrow morning. Then they start dropping back off as we head towards Friday. So at least we have that to look forward to. Temperatures this evening are going to drop into the 40s, and by morning we'll see those scattered showers and storms across our area. Heaviest showers are going to be down to the south, and then as we go through the day, the showers will start to end from northwest to southeast with northwesterly winds and highs generally in the low to mid 50s. Then as we go through Thursday night into Friday morning, temperatures are going to be dropping down close to freezing with mostly fair skies, just a few clouds here and there. Then as we head into Friday afternoon, partly cloudy skies with highs in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees with northeasterly winds. Then as we go into Saturday morning, we'll see the clouds increase once again with lows in the 30s and 40s with those southeasterly winds ahead of the next storm system. Rainfall amounts are going to be lighter with this system, maybe around 1/4 of an inch down to the south, and lighter amounts the further north and west you go. Let's take a look at the forecast over the next 14 days. You can see a wet pattern shaping up across most of the United States, including our area. So let's take a look at the next 7 days. Here we go. 40% chance of showers, mainly in the morning, and then a high of 56. Then much better on Friday, but a little cool, 51. Don't forget to set your clock back on Saturday night as we had the next storm system moving in over the weekend, and then drier early next week, and then yet another system on Wednesday and Thursday of next week, just in time for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we're going to lose an hour of sleep this weekend, but it'll be worth it.
I think we'll make up for it next fall.
That's true. Thanks, Sam. Coming up, what's behind a sharp rise in car thefts over a period of years? Topping today's Consumer Watch, the Federal Trade Commission has launched an investigation into Twitter's privacy practices. The move comes after a House subcommittee disclosed a dozen letters from the FTC to Twitter looking for information about the company's operation under its new leader, Elon Musk. The FDA has flagged 2 more recalls of eye drops due to contamination risks that could lead to vision problems, even blindness. Pharmadeca USA is recalling some of its purely soothing 15% MSM drops. That's the recall the manufacturer says due to problems that could result in blindness. And Apotex is recalling some of its prescription eye drops used to treat glaucoma that is finding some cracks in some bottle caps. Car thefts jumped during the pandemic and have now hit a mark not seen in almost 15 years. Reporter Michael George explains why.
This Hyundai has been stolen not once, but 3 times.
I'm actually at my wit's end.
Sheila Hughes, who's a member of the U.S. Air Force, says her car was first taken in 2001.
I literally started crying. I broke down because I didn't have a way to get my daughter to school.
Police eventually found it. She had it fixed, only for it to be stolen again and again. Hughes is a victim of a crime wave that took off during the pandemic. Since 2019, vehicle thefts have increased at a rapid rate, hitting more than 1 million last year, the highest total since 2008. The problem is more prevalent in some states. Illinois and Washington state saw thefts jump more than 30% in 2022. New York was up 23%.
We do anticipate throughout the next year these numbers will continue to increase.
David Glaoui is the president of the National Insurance Crime Bureau and says owner complacency is a top reason why.
Key fobs left in cars are a primary issue with cars being stolen.
Glaoui also says used vehicles are more attractive to thieves since prices shot up during the pandemic. Many were certain types of Hyundais and Kias after social media videos showing how to steal them went viral. The companies have since put out software updates to prevent the thefts, but that came too late for Hughes.
I don't want to put my daughter back in that car. I don't want to get back in that car.
When her car was stolen and vandalized a third time, the insurance company totaled it. Now she's shopping for a new vehicle. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The National Insurance Crime Bureau says to prevent theft, be sure to lock your vehicle, take that key or fob, park in well-lit areas and in a garage if that's possible. Our Pet Vet on Call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, we're going to meet a college basketball star from Nigeria who's a standout both on the court and off. Then on KOAM News at 6, Jasper County 911 Dispatch gives us a look into an operator's shift dealing with calls, multitasking, and a lot more. Plus, we're going to have more details on yesterday's manhunt for Aaron Swink in Crawford County and how emergency officials in southeast Kansas are getting ready for severe weather season. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. We've all heard you don't have to wait until you're sick to get a checkup at the doctor's office, but is that also true for our pets? Today's question for our Pet Vet on Call: if my dog seems healthy, does it really need a regular health exam?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because dogs age so much faster than we do. As they get older, they can go from perfectly healthy to end-stage disease and even die in as quickly as 3 to 6 months. Think about it. If you got a puppy at age 8 and you go off to college at age 18, you're still young and obnoxious, but he is at the end of his life expectancy. So it's recommended that you have your dogs checked out twice a year so we can catch things early, maybe arrest the progression of disease, get him to live a little bit longer, and more importantly, give him quality of life in his later years. So yes, it's very important to take your healthy dog to your vet.
Hey, we invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to PetVet at KOAMTV.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen this adult female medium hair cat. Her name is Madam Fluff, for obvious reasons. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we've chosen Layla, maybe named by an Eric Clapton fan. She's a 2-year-old Australian cattle dog blue heeler mix. It does great on car rides and knows how to play fetch. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society?
I actually got to hold Madam Fluff on Monday.
Is that right?
Yeah, looking at cats and to get a replacement cat, and so Madam Fluff was really sweet.
Yeah, I'm sure she was. The weather.
We have some nice weather coming up on Friday, but we have to get through the rain first, and that's going to begin tonight with some morning showers, and then Friday looks better, and then more rain comes in on the weekend, and then we dry out on Monday and Tuesday before yet the next system. So we're kind of going into that springtime pattern of showers every other day or so.
Yeah, not quite enough time to completely dry out, but we need some rain.
Right.
Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.